This is ʻEhā stream. I think it's one of the 4 streams they call Na Wai ʻEhā. Not so much today, because you can see the stream flowing today, but most of the time, most of the water has been diverted. So as if you see the water flowing today, if there's larvae in the water, the larvae can make it out to the ocean. So these are your fishes, your ʻōʻōpu, your ʻōpai, your shrimp, and then also your hihiwai, which is your snails. What happens is they drift around in the ocean, sort of like plankton. And then so what happens is when we get a big rain, they sense the fresh water coming out from the streams. So the ʻōʻōpu, I guess, when they sense the fresh water, what they'll do is to come back towards the mouth. So when they come up the streams, then what will happen is they'll migrate upstream and then live the rest of their lives in the streams. You have 2 diversions on this stream. And so what both diversions do, it's like a 1-2 punch. The diversions, when the larvae, I guess the eggs hatch, these are for your stream animals. What happens is the larvae floats down with the water. But when they go to the diversion captures all of the water. So all of the larvae basically goes into the diversion. So it goes into the irrigation ditches and the reservoirs. They never reach the ocean. What happens in this stream, because of the diversions, the water can't flow past the diversion. So then the water stops. When the water stops in the stream, then pools are created. Pools and little runs, and a lot of times in the pools will probably be where the animals are. Then what happens is the fishes or even the hihiwai and the shrimp will go under the rocks. And then just that shading will kind of protect them for a little bit. But after a couple of days, then they sort of, the water temperature will get too hot. The water temperature will go over 90 degrees. And so they'll get boiled inside the stream. So I think a lot of times people don't realize how much the plants or even the trees, the canopy, when you go up to the state park, you see trees and then it's covered over. So it does some shading, so it keeps the water cooler. Whereas when they put in this concrete channel, basically they're exposed. So even when you look over here, the concrete actually just sits and then basically heats up. And so that heat gets transferred to the water. So the water temperature also goes up. But as the water temperature goes up, it also, the water has less oxygen in the water. And I think we need to look at that long term. I've talked to kupuna who've talked about having ʻōʻōpu nakea and even ʻōpai in the taro patches. So just by telling me that they had ʻōpai in the taro patches, it tells me how much colder the water used to be.
My name is Scott Fisher and I'm the project manager for the Maui Coastal Land Trust Waiheʻi Coastal Dunes and Wetlands Refuge, and my job is to oversee and coordinate the habitat and ecological restoration work on the refuge. In August of this year, 2010, by a order of the Water Commission, about 10 million gallons was restored to the Waiheʻi stream. So was it enough? No, we can always use more. I mean, the estimate is anywhere from about 40 to 50 million gallons a day prior to the diversions taking a lot of that water. The more water we can get, the more high quality habitat we can produce, and without high quality habitat, the endangered birds that we are trying to work for just are not going to return to this area. I think really what the issue is how will we achieve sustainability? Because really what it comes down to is we will be a sustainable island. We have to be. We have no other choice. We have 2 options. Do we want to come to sustainability the hard way, or do we want to come about it a much more enlightened way, which is actually looking at the way that we use resources? What we really need to do is look at what did the kupuna have to say about sustainability. And sustainability in past times was enhancing the quality of really good areas. So you have areas that are rich in resources. Unfortunately, we've gotten away from that idea that we take areas that are somewhat impoverished and the drier areas, and we try and make them look like they're actually in the wet areas, in the ko'olau areas. So the kupuna understood the difference between the ko'olau and the kona. The kona is not where you try to do dry land taro, yet here we have golf courses and swimming pools and things like that. So the future will be a sustainable island. It's how we come about becoming sustainable that I'm concerned about.
What do I think will happen to Na Wai ʻEhā in the future? Well, I believe that this rich, fertile moku of Wailuku, poetically known as Na Wai, ʻEhā, will come back alive with vast traditional agricultural systems such as what you see today. It's happening in all of these different ahupua'a from Waikapu all the way to Waihe'e. It's been happening for many, many years through the struggles that have been ongoing with the diversion of our waters.
I'm hoping that we get our regular annual rains come back. So with that, I'm hoping that the stream would probably flow a lot more frequently. I've been watching for 3 years. It's been a terrible drought. But like I said, I also watch when the stream flows. And when the stream does flow, I do have animals moving up.
Oh, I'm hopeful that that a change in attitude will bring about a change in how water is used. I mean, water is shaping up to be a generational question that the generations who are now being born are going to have to address some of these issues in the future.
But I do believe that in regards to our Na Wai, ʻEhā case, the justice system will make the right decisions. I truly believe that in the end we will prevail. There is a way that we can share this resource as well. It's understanding that we live in a different age, and the preliminary decision for Na Wai, ʻEhā was a fair one, where it almost basically was 50-50 down the middle. For the last 150 years, the sugar plantations have had all of our water, and I think it's not too much to ask to start sharing.
We've started to learn as biologists, and I guess even engineers have learned that certain things in the streams can be done to kind of make it better. The good thing about putting in a low flow channel is that there'll be a low flow. Right now, if you have no flow, then it still doesn't help. You create a low flow channel, you need to get a flow in the channel, and then the animals would be able to migrate up the channel.
And so I think really what it comes down to is education. If we can educate people about the need to preserve our natural resources, to conserve them, and that we live within a web of relationships, and that relationship, we are one element of that overall relationship.
We are connected, whether we like it or not, to these places via the resources. And in Na Wai, ʻEhā, the reason why it was called Na Wai, ʻEhā, or the four great waters, is because of the vast water resources of these areas.
We obviously all live in an island, and islands are where those decisions become very critical very quickly. And so if we don't solve them, if we choose not to solve them, if we choose to put them off for too long, we may end up impoverishing ourselves.
And I do believe that someday we will see our streams flow Maukuta Makai again. I believe someday we will have O'opu, Hihivai, and Opai together in these kahawai again, and allow us as native tenants, Ho'aina, to these lands to be able to restore and to feed our families and feed our communities once again.
Our goal is that Hawaii's people will continue to fight for our water. We feel the water should never be diverted away from its natural flow. The large amount of diverted water only hurt our native mountain to the sea ecosystem. The people of Hawaii have the right to our water from and for our island. Removing this much water from its natural place is creating problems for the entire island. We want to create awareness with this video. We hope you enjoyed it, and please share it with others. Me ke aloha pumehana mai keia hui. Mahalo.
Ka apuni o Maui, e iki na vai e ha. O e ka pu, o